my name is Doug McBride. I own and run Gravity Studios in Wicker Park neighborhood of Chicago. And we've been in business 15 years, recording indie rock bands and just bands. I'm here to show you some equipment we work with daily. So this is the Shadow Hills Industries Master Compressor that we've been enjoying here for a couple of years. The first thing, I mean, it's cool looking and it grabs people's attention. We've been found that it's just a very versatile compressor, as well as being pretty miraculous on the 2-mix. It's just a tremendous sounding 2-bus compressor. Basically, there's a number of things that are different about the way it sounds and what it's capable of. The most notable is the fact that it's basically 2 compressors built into one chassis. You've got an optical compressor, which is basically right here, and then you've got a discrete compressor, which is right here. And basically, it's routed such that you get the optical compressor first in the chain, although you can turn it off completely. And then then it's followed by the discrete compressor, which again can also be taken out of the chain if you desire. So it's there are occasions where we'll chain them together and use both compressors, and then there's times when we'll just use one, and then there's times where we'll turn them both off just to get the sound of the transformer. And something that's common to a lot of Shadow Hills products is they've got selectable transformers. So you have the nickel setting, the iron setting, and the steel setting, which are 3 different transformers. Essentially, the nickel transformer to me sounds more like somewhat like an API sound of the 2520. The iron is more like a St. Ives or a Neve transformer, and the steel is kind of hard to describe. Maybe I've heard some describe it like a quad 8. It's grittier, I guess, and it can be really cool for drums and stuff like that. The one thing that's really useful is that the metering, which is right up here, you've got the choice of metering the gain reduction for the optical compressor, or the discrete compressor gain reduction, or the output of the module. So the way I often set it up is to monitor the optical compressor separately from the discrete compressor. Another thing about this is the optical gain. There's 24 dB of gain, and it's really cool sounding. It's kind of hard to describe, but on vocals it sounds great. It's cool for distorting vocals when you're tracking or mixing, for that matter. And I like the sound of it on guitars a great deal. Then down here on the discrete side of things, you've got the ratios that are all similar to the SSL quad bus compressor, but in addition you've got 1.2 to 1 ratio, which is very subtle ratio, but can be just what the doctor ordered. And then the attack selections are identical to an SSL quad compressor. Threshold, recovery, and this discrete gain. Now, if you choose whichever transformer you choose is going to give you a different tone, and the amount of gain that you add will basically emphasize and bring out that tone choice to a greater degree, depending on how much you crank it, how hard you hit it. Another thing that's become pretty popular lately, but Peter was one of the first to really catch on to it, is the sidechain filter. So we use that quite often, and basically when the sidechain filter is in, the compression sensor ignores the frequencies like 90 hertz and below, I believe, so that your kick drum and like any kind of low-end transient won't drag down the whole mix with it. So you can avoid the pumping sound if you want to. Of course, there's a hardwire bypass, and it can be used obviously in dual or mono. One thing that definitely takes some getting used to is the fact that they've laid out the controls in a mirror-like way. So rather than having ratio, attack, ratio attack. It's ratio attack, attack ratio, for instance. So that takes a little bit of getting used to. We use it on, as I said, on 2-bus a great deal, as well as on individual tracks. At this point, because we've got a mastering studio in Studio B, we haven't found the need to bring it in there, just because we've got a lot of compressors. But the versatility that's offered with this, it's almost a shame to use it just for mastering, because it's so capable in such a wide variety of instruments. I think that what Peter might have been trying to do aesthetically was, by mirroring the controls on each side, he was basically trying to create something like this.